do that?
It just occurred to me.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, it's all good. Um, so she feels like you're holding all the burden. There's nothing, it's all water under the bridge at this point. She knows that, like, from her perspective, let me see what she says. Well, that didn't make any sense. From her perspective, it's all free. Hold on. I'm in that place of interpreting, like, what does she mean there? So you can keep talking and I'll just, if you want to, I'll just kind of say, I'll put my hand up or something. Okay,
So
here I
I'll recap so that I can get this on the recording that I had the visit from her, the phone call from her, and all the things I want to say I'm sorry about not being there with her the last days because of a funeral. Um, her confirming that she did indeed come to visit me that day in February, and I read that article. Um, like I said, I'm just sort of getting this so that when I look back on this recording one day, when I know I will. Also, she sent me the messages with you the last time we spoke, the last time we had the last session with her. She was trying to tell me that she was leaving. I didn't want to believe it. I think it was more of a denial than anything. Um, and I made her walk when I knew she was telling me clearly that she didn't want to do it. And I made her do it anyway because I thought I knew better as a human being to tell her she has to move to keep herself limber. And a day and a half later, she was gone. And I was just so mad at myself for doing that.
yeah.
So yeah, I am carrying a lot, and I it's one of my quote problems in life is I tend to dwell on things that I can't change.
Yeah.
I,
So what would you like to tell her or hear from her? Because I can't really control what comes through here, but what would you what would ease your mind maybe in this?
well, she told me in another animal communication session several years back that she wanted to be out with other horses, and I should try to find her a place where she could be turned out. And I didn't have the money to get her to a place that she could be turned out with other horses. And I thought for sure that the new owners of the barn would provide that. And they did in the sense of I was able to get her a friend, a horse friend in Foxy that I could turn her out with in the arena. It wasn't outside, not ideal, but at least it was out with a horse. Unfortunately, that horse had to go to another farm to be a therapy horse, and she lost her friend. And I just felt terrible that I couldn't get her to a place, or I didn't try hard enough to get her to a place where she could be turned out. She was saying that she didn't like it there. It was dark. She was stuck in that box all the time. I just felt like I wish I would have done more to get her out of there.
I'm hearing from her as you talk that she has she has all that now. That from the perspective she's at now, she sees that it's not about that when you're in this density of this place that we're in, that there's other reasons that you come here. And it's not always to have everything that you think you need. She said, I had everything I needed. I just, even for her, it wasn't that she could see that at the moment. Like when we're stuck here in this human form or in this horse form, it's so physical. It's so much in the like, this is what's happened to me now. But as she has lifted, she says, to a different place, that her real purpose was not to always have all her comforts. Her purpose was more, than that. And it was, she almost said suffering is a good thing sometimes. So let me see what else comes from this. She says, I want Denise to know I didn't suffer in the way she thinks I did. That I chose that place. I chose that situation because she also had to learn something. So just hold on while I get, I usually don't use, when I communicate, I'm usually not using words so much. So this is a little out of my realm. So I'm trying to go, okay, here's a feeling of it. And here's what I'm going to interpret as or translate into word form. Because now she's not in the horse body per se. You know, it's like it's a different soul experience. It's so interesting. Because like when horses are here in this realm, I'm speaking to them energetically and they're in a horse body. And so they're having a horse experience essentially. Now it's almost, I think that was part of the freedom. That's no longer, she says, her identity per se. That now she's a soul. And so, yeah, that whole horse thing is no longer applies really, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so she said she needed to come to give you guidance. And she's always around. It's like I'm always around her now more than ever. Okay, now more than ever she's around you. And she's saying she can breathe now, like breathe. She can, and I'm not talking breathing in a physical way. It feels like in that word, I'm putting the word breathe on it, but it's like this expansive feeling of I have no boundaries. I have no constraints. And she's also saying the things that she thought were important when she was here were not as important as she put, you know, like the whole thing of I need other horses or I need this. She's like, now she's looking at it from a different place. It's like, why did I think that? Because I already had it, is what she was saying. I already had all that. And it's almost like she's trying to get you to see that in the density of where we're at here in this space, that we can only see within this little, she's using the term bowl that we put ourselves into. I'm seeing a bowl like it's got these high sides on it and you can't crawl out of it because it's slick on the side. So you're just stuck within this tiny area here and that's all you see and that's all you know. And so that becomes what you think everything is. And she's like, now I've climbed out of the bowl and now I see there's so much more. And maybe it's like she's trying to say to you, like, you don't have to live in that bowl, even though you're in a physical world. You can crawl out of that bowl. And I'm trying to see, like, how do we crawl out of the bowl? Because all of us, even, you know, everybody who's in here, we get in the bowl and we don't crawl out. And we begin to evaluate everything by those walls around us. She's saying you could make the walls translucent or like opaque so you could see through them. So that even though you're stuck in this physical body that does have certain constraints, look outside that, is what she's saying. Look beyond what is this feelings, these ideas, this everything that you have here. She said, look beyond that. She said, even I couldn't look beyond it when I was in the horse form. But it's interesting. That's what's interesting. I don't often do. I haven't done any of the other side things for a long time, and it's like she's just trying to go like, get out of there. Get out of there. You have no idea. You haven't, until you're gone, and then you go, oh, why was I doing that to myself? Okay, so she's telling you to kick down the walls, whatever those walls are that you put up around yourself. Whether somebody did it to you or you did it to yourself. They're not real. And she's like, I'm over here beckoning you. It's like we are this close. Like there's a wall here. But it's really just your imagination. It's just not real. The whole bowl isn't real. Like she says, can't you see? She's like over here going, can't you see me over here? Can't you see? I'm over here. I'm good.
So the bowl that separates us isn't real. Like
It
she's
isn't.
right here. That's
Yeah,
what she's telling me. Okay.
exactly. So don't put up a false ball. I mean, yeah, open up. Step into kind of the unknown or what you're not familiar with.
Is this regarding something specific like my work that I hate or just
This
the little chasm that I've put myself in as far as I'm alone with no relationship like
it feels like it's a global thing. Like it applies to everything, but nothing in particular. Like it's the
okay.
whole, like changing your whole entire perspective of looking at life.
Okay.
Oh, and you're welcome to ask other questions because it's like now I feel like I've got her and she's on the side and maybe we can come up with some kind of language that I'm
So
kind of
so a couple questions that I might have had were like, and again, I don't know why I'm asking this, because it's like you said, water under the bridge, but I feel like, as we often do in things in our life, you don't notice. You go along, you're doing something, and you think you're doing like, okay, this is what you're taught in horsemanship world. You don't let them win, blah, blah, blah. And then one day I was like, why is she always pinning her ears? Has she always been doing that? Have I just never noticed it? Like, am I just, and again, I evolved as we all do. And, finding you and your work and this group has really opened my eyes. Um, Even now when I work with other horses, I see what people are doing and I'm like, I can't say anything because it's not my place and they're not my blah blah blah. Like I like did she realize that I was suddenly realizing what was happening and I was did she see that I was finally like, oh, okay, I'm coming along here to actually seeing you, even though I think there's still things I missed, huge things I missed, but yeah, I think it's mostly about the pinning the ears. Like I just noticed one day she was always pinning her ears when people walked into her stall, and I was like, why is she hating everybody? Like, why does she hate me? Why did And again, that was my interpretation.
she's she's kind of relating this to um she's and I can kind of understand this one. She's like, you have no idea. And neither did she when she came down to be a horse. Like, I have no idea how hard it is to deal with all of that humanness around. it's like it was a lot.
Can't imagine.
And um and now she sees it. She goes, well, I don't I, when I came, I had no idea it was going to be that hard on me. And that it was the only thing it this feels more like it was not in a spiritual sense, but in the sense of being in a physical body, how overwhelming that was. And it doesn't feel like that now. It's like she goes, wow, that was so interesting that I had no idea before I went in and incarnated that it would feel that horrible and overwhelming. And now that I'm gone from it, I feel free from that experience, which wasn't good. But at the same time, it's like, how could I tell people something they can't feel? And it was like, I don't have words, I don't have other things to do other than that behavior. And again, it's done and over, and it was something she had to experience too. Because otherwise, unless you experience something from through somebody else's eyes, through somebody else's body, all you could do was say, oh, quit doing that. Oh, that's not that bad. She goes, it was that bad. It was that bad. And then to top it off, to be an Arab, like even more sensitive than normal, right? But she says because of that, it brought you to look at things differently because of that behavior, because you did notice and that you did take steps. She goes, that's when I couldn't breathe. The whole time I was there. Okay. Yeah. She feels real compressed. Like she's showing me this is what it felt like. I just had to compress into my body and just like, oh, it makes sense of why she couldn't move at the end. I have to do that just to survive. I can't move because otherwise my defense will fall apart. So this is how I'm going to survive is that I don't move. Um, and she's like, she's just showing me, it's like, it's so interesting when you're in a physical body, how intense things are. And I mean, she's happy now because it's like, whew, to be done with that is great. She's like, this is wonderful. Um, but what are we supposed to do with, she's like, she's proud of you because you did notice it and that you did the best things that you could and that you went on a different journey instead of being the ones that would say, oh, just knock it off. Because part of what she was here, it was her own spiritual development too. We always think, well, it's just about us or it's our spiritual. No, it was her own spiritual development. And she's like, I had to feel that. I had to understand that at a deeper level. And that's why I chose that body and that breed and that situation. Um, and she's like, yeah, I was pissed off a lot of times. I was angry a lot of times, but I held it together again to the end where I can't move or else the the holding together, the glue that's holding this whole body together and the all that would have fallen apart. Um, and for you never to feel bad because that was her choice to come in that and to have those experiences and to do those things. And she says, I opened her eyes. I opened her eyes. So She
And one of
feels
my
good.
things I wrote down here is to thank her for opening my eyes. I wanted to
Okay.
thank her for like letting me see the other way of being and helping me, helping point me in the right direction
Okay.
because yeah, I don't think you can't unsee it. You know,
No,
once you get to this place, you can't unsee it.
right. Oh, that's pretty cool though, that she's so see, she even sees what you write. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, again, so all the sorries. I'm sorry I made her walk when she wasn't supposed to walk or didn't want to walk. I'm sorry I didn't move you. I'm sorry for I wasn't sorry I wasn't there the last day she was alive because I've had a funeral. Was she happy already? You sort of already answered that.
yeah.
Um, what else did I write here? So her blocks were gone, I think, when we last met. She had said to you to tell me that her blocks were all gone and she was okay and just waiting to go basically to make sure that I was going to be okay.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's pretty cool to be because I'm sitting in her energy right now and it's just lovely. I mean, when do I get to I hate to say, it's like it doing this work takes away your fear of leaving. Because I've
yeah,
never connected with anybody or anything on the other side that didn't feel. And she goes, "This is the serenity. It's indescribable, really." And I'm thanking her for letting me sit in her energy to experience that right now because it's lovely.
that's great.
And I think that's why I'm saying all of the things you worry about of what did I do or not do right or whatever. Again, those words, it's like it doesn't even matter anymore because what she came to do, she accomplished. And that was what, when you said it's opened your eyes. Job is done. I did a good job. I and she's like, I'm happy. It's almost, she said, and I'd never had children, so I wouldn't know it's almost like childbirth. You go through this intense pain and suffering and everything, and then at the other side of it is this wonderful thing and then you forget. You totally forget the struggle, the labor, the everything that happened there. It's like, wow, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here, or I wouldn't have this knowledge or that knowledge or whatever. So if it's possible, she's like, don't dwell on any of that stuff anymore. She's like, we're good. We are good. And she's there with you all the time. It's like she's not left you. She's like, I'm even with her more now than she ever was in the physical. Okay.
Yeah, I wish I could see the signs, but maybe in my opening, I will be able to see that. Like I said, it was quite clear to me that Friday evening in my living room, she was absolutely there. Like there was just no question about it, even though I questioned it, you know.
Yeah.
Um, it was there. It was clear she was with me, but and I said, "Are you telling me what's there to tell me? I feel like you have something to tell me. I don't know what it is."
No,
Um,
the only thing she wants to tell you is she's there. It's like, don't look anywhere. Don't look for something big. It's like, I'm always there. And again, she's showing me those walls. It's like, they're not there. They're really not there, just in your mind. And I think, as I'm checking with her, she's going, that's what all of the horses are trying to get people to understand. Put down the walls. Stop with this is how it's supposed to be. See it.
yeah.
Just leave it. It's like here's this density of the human experience. It's like, well, we got to do this, this, and this to the horse. It's like she's saying it's so easy also to fall into that. Well, this is what I should be doing because this is what science said, or this is, and she goes, that's not it. Yeah. I'm just, hold on a second while I'm checking with anything else she wants to say on that. We're, she just shoved me, we're partners. We're partners. Um, and she's also telling you to trust yourself. Don't second guess. Trust yourself. And it's so if you're watching my eyes, it's like when I do this, my eyes go fixed. It's usually to the left and a little bit up. So that's when I'm connecting on the other place. So just it's not me disconnecting from you. It's like
Oh,
it's
I understand.
yeah,
I understand.
kind of the process here. See, you're giving me a chance to practice this because I've denied this part of what I do. It's like,
Well, and
yeah.
I do appreciate you doing this for me. I sincerely appreciate you being alive in this world and also giving me this gift when you don't typically like practice it or want to practice it or whatever it is. I appreciate it. Um, I let's see.
She said
So
you can do it. You can do it.
I'm
You know you can do it.
I'm actually that's what I think she's telling me that I'm denying. That I need to stop denying because I truly want. I'm actually just meeting with somebody to do some somatic work today, so I can be more somatic. Like I can't be in my body. I have this, like many probably people do, and that really prevents intuition and prevents. I feel like it's really prevented me from. I do get glimpses of things where I'm like, oh, I see. Like again, she's visited me. I've had my dogs visit me where I'm like, oh no, I don't believe that. I want to believe it, but so I'm working on it. I want to work on being able to hear animals, see them for what they have to tell us. I feel like there's so much that they have to tell us that we're so it's beaten out of us as children that imaginary friend doesn't exist and all those
Right.
things are not real and all that stuff.
Exactly. But
Um,
but I'm gonna put a cautionary note out there. You met Dr. Ev who came on the one Zoom meeting, so I've been working with her a bunch on the um classes and she does the editing for a lot of stuff, but it's like she goes, "Oh, this is what you feel." I go, "Yeah, I'm not sure it's a good thing to be able to feel the way I do." It's like it takes a certain level of guts to go out in the world and say, "Yeah, I'm gonna feel all this stuff and do it." And this is why I've actually been holed up for about 3 months because last year overwhelmed me in the human world.
I imagine I can understand. I can't, of course, really understand because I'm not there, but I can see how that would really be a drain.
It's just so much noise. And what my
Yeah.
and I think this is what even for horses, it's so much noise. They're really open and it's like so I'm just saying when you go there, be prepared for it can, like titrate it, like go slowly and easily into it and keep, like the breathing was my ability to survive in the world. That like I'm cycling out everybody's stuff, but at the same time, I'm allowing information to come in. So I'm just going to tell you this so that as you explore these things, you're going to understand like, okay, I want to be more open, but with more open is an intensity that's like what he was trying to tell us. It's like you had no idea what it was like to be in that body, and I wanted to close up and not move. that's exactly what happened to me this last year. I overwhelmed with all that energy and my system couldn't keep up with it. Like,
Yeah.
and I needed this quiet time to be away and not have to deal with it. But just saying that, I wouldn't trade anything for being able to feel and notice and everything, but also know that take care of yourself in that. Listen to your body when it says, I need to isolate or I need to go somewhere and regenerate. Okay. Because
Okay.
this world right now, especially right now, people are losing their minds. And this is another reason it's like, oh my God, just going out there, the energy is like, zzz, and it's like, oh my God, do I want to step out there? No, I'll write a book instead. It's like it's a way that I'm going, okay, I need to still be productive, but here's what I'm gonna have to do for my own self. So just that's even coming from Key's place and maybe what she was trying to say at the very beginning about how overwhelming it was to feel everything. That she has, like, people have no idea how loud they are energetically.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
And so to survive, you've got to have all these skill sets. Um, so keep with the breathing because that's my way that I could stay open, but every breath cycle I would put in intention that each exhale cleaned out anything that didn't belong to me. Okay. But there's only
Yeah.
so fast your system can run. With,
Yeah, I could imagine. Yeah.
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 So I think that's a
So
message from her too. Just know what you're
is
asking
there
for.
is there so I don't, I'm not sure. I just not that I was never aware of this, but there's, the seven messages from the Arabian horses that we've heard this myth or story or truth or whatever it may be. Um, that each Arabian horse carries a quality and each Arabian horse knows that quality of what they're delivering. Is there something she would like to convey to me with that?
Okay. She told me the thing that came up was a quality of wholeness. I don't remember the seven qualities from that book off the top of my head. But
I don't know either,
but what
courage, gift, what is it? I don't know them off the top of
okay.
my head either.
So wholeness came up, meaning embrace who you are. Embrace the wholeness of your abilities. Believe in those. And I'm feeling like again, she keeps showing me the wall. Don't believe in the wall. Don't separate the spirit from here. That seems to be the biggest thing. Don't and she's kind of showing me like how people go to church and it's like I'm going to go to church and I'm going to be spiritual this day. Then you walk out of the walls of the church and then you're in a different place. And so you compartmentalize each thing. You compartmentalize spirituality and you compartmentalize the human experience of the physicality of it. Don't, she's saying. That's what she's saying with the wholeness.
Okay.
Wholeness. There is no separation. What she's showing me there is no separation. Like, don't think of it in that way. And don't and this has happened to the human collective as a whole, is that whatever forces are out there that don't want us to know we have abilities have created these ideas for us. So it's not like it's all our fault. We've been conditioned to believe these things and over time. And so stepping out of it, it's so funny. She goes, you always thought you had to climb out of the bowl and you could get out because the sides were slick, but you didn't even realize you could just walk right through it. So all of the struggle we're doing is for naught, because all we have to do is go, oh, I see the way. And there isn't anything in the no impediment. Um, and I'm just thinking now it's like science and spirit. It's very interesting how I think when I wrote Sacred Spaces originally, I was still coming out of academia and more in that science place in my brain. Oh, this is this and this is this, and I can't say this. And and then the more I've done this work over the years, I feel like I'm almost saying bye-bye to the science because it's almost like it's the slick walls of the bowl. And therefore, I have to stay in the bowl of science if I decide to go there. Whereas the horses have shown me, here's the other, just come on over here, walk through the side. Don't tell them anything about what you're doing, but just come over here, walk through it. uh, you know, and then you're going to see it was all just, she said, BS. And isn't that, you think about it, even, I can't even hardly go on Facebook anymore because it's like this frenetic energy of everybody's got a method and everybody's right in their method and it's like here's this thing and you do these steps and it just feels like they're getting so in the bowl even though they think they're not.
Yeah.
They're almost
Yeah.
putting themselves into a bigger, steeper, more slick bowl than they had before.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm just gonna come over here. You don't need all that stuff. Just like wander on through here and come over. And that's really what the horses are trying to say to us. Those are distractions.
Yeah, almost like, people are like, oh, I'm now enlightened, when really, like, we were always enlightened. Like, that whole thing is, we were always there. Like,
Exactly.
that word is just now a buzzword, or this, it's like, really, we were always just there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so funny because the more I see it, it's like here over in the horse world, and they're like, we're going to meditate with our horses and we're going to do all this. And it's like, I'm just looking over on this other side going, why are you dissociating even more than you were before? Like, that's what people aren't realizing is that meditation isn't all the same.
Yeah.
That there's meditative practices which we're taught to do for the most part that are going to cause us to dissociate and learn to go out of our body. And instead of becoming more present, we're becoming less. We're becoming less connected to the world around us. We're leaving that instead of let's just meditate on being present or meditate on an energy. Like when I say safety and comfort or one of those are my meditations to stay in my body, to stay present, to be in the experience instead of leaving. So I don't know why I got on that one, but just kind of, as some people want to put, really say go meditate and go do, yeah, depends on how you're doing it, just like everything. Notice how you're doing it and look at a bigger picture. What am I doing and what is the purpose? And do I need to tweak it so that it has a different purpose? The one that I want, not the one that society over here is telling me. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's part of her bigger thing of the wholeness is not getting caught up in the frenzy. She's like, it's so funny. She's showing me over there. It's like they have no idea. Over here is serenity, and you have everything. over here where everybody, a lot of people in the horse world and all the movement, it's like they're just going around in circles like little ants, like, you know, and it's like, but they're not accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
So she's saying, go outside the bowl, come with her. She's always with you. She's like, I can guide her more now than I could before. And embrace it
Yeah.
with joy. Like it's like, here's this.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm also again very in my head of like, well, how will I know? What will there be a sign that she's there? No, you're telling me she's always there. I have to
Yeah.
try to break down that wall of I have the wall of like, when will I know, or how will I know, or yeah, I hear it. I hear it. I hear what I'm
Yeah.
saying, and it's exact opposite of what she's telling me to do.
Yeah, so funny. But just consider this. This is hard because we've been conditioned so
Yeah.
much in our life. And I think, you know, in the human condition, it's like trauma and the things that we do to each other, it's been conditioned into to keep us from looking and seeing.
Yeah.
And so don't, you know, we all have to go, okay, if we see it for what it is, it was just a tactic, something or some higher entity used to keep us from finding ourselves. Therefore, it's not, you can say, well, that happened to me, but I'm not going to let it belong to me anymore.
Yeah, these are things that are just so like it's so simple, but yet so not simple.
Exactly.
Like, so simple,
Exactly.
but so not simple.
She goes,
Yeah.
once you get to the other side, and then it all seems like, well, why are you guys not doing it? It's so simple. It's like, because we're in this body and
I can see
like
that it's simple, but I can't see that it's simple. It's a oxymoron.
it is.
Yeah.
It's our pesky prefrontal cortex. That's what.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right. So one other question I have is the last time she was here with us, both of us, she said that she's worried that I might not get another horse because she's coming back to me. And I really don't know that I will ever get another horse, mostly because of financial situation,
Right.
financial things. Um, is she still planning to come back to me? And if so, can she come as a dog or something
Yeah.
that I could
Oh,
afford and she can live with me and stay with me always and I will know for sure that
oh,
it's her? Like, how will I know for
right.
sure that it's her?
And it's so funny because as you were talking, my hand is writing, I'll come back in a different form. So
Okay.
as long as you don't get obsessed with looking for it, it'll just show up somewhere, you know, and are you having an inclination toward a dog?
Well, I've always said that any other dog or animal or any animal I ever get, I don't go get it. She came to me. Every dog I've owned ever come have always come. I don't go get them. They come to me
Okay.
some way. She came to me always, and I won't get another animal
Okay.
until or unless it comes to me.
She says, give me another month or so.
Okay, I can do that
At
because I'm
least,
not
yeah, because she
really
said it's a little more complicated than you think over here to like
well, and also it's a little more
orchestrate.
complicated for me. I'm not interested in doing it anytime soon. That's why I'm
Okay.
like, when the time is right, it will happen.
All right. So that way she says at least a month to get, because she showed me that there's like a lot of connections,
Well,
like
and she can
interesting
take
things.
her time. She can do her thing and stay in that serenity as long as she wants, which I don't know that I'd ever want to leave such serenity, um, but I'm not looking to to gather an animal or being anytime soon. Whatever it happens, it happens. I just
Like
Yeah.
I said, I don't know that a horse is right for me, maybe ever after seeing what I see in the
Oh, I know.
world.
I get
Although I
that.
feel terrible about that because I feel like I should be with a horse so that I could at least save one from the certain horrible stuff that goes on.
Yeah, but
But again, I
there's
just
other ways to help them rather than having to own one. I mean,
yeah,
I don't even need to own horses anymore because I'm immersed in that
yeah.
energy all the time. So it's almost like, oh, well, I just get to live through everybody else's horses.
I'm afraid to help horses that are not looking, that the owners are not looking for the help
That's where it's hard, and I don't really step in. However,
because I don't want to confuse them or make them go, oh, wait, why does this person see it and this person doesn't? I don't want to do that to anybody.
right. And there's been times when I think I may have I don't know if I spoke to the group about it, but it was like, oh, I've really considered whether I have the fortitude to do this because of the amount of frustration that people don't want to change or they can't or that whatever, and these horses are suffering. And then I'm like, oh, but I still have to do something. But what's really interesting, I kept thinking, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload different things to the what I call the internet of intuition, that universal consciousness that horses tap into. I'm going to upload these things. Whoops, sorry. Um, hold on just a second. Well, that just rings.
Oh, I didn't even hear anything.
Sorry. See,
That's okay. I didn't
she's
even hear
calling
anything.
you. Um, I think what I'm doing is I'm just uploading intentions up into there. So like I've uploaded the 4 questions there. And what's very interesting is I can walk in and it's like horses that I may not be working with, but I walk in there and it's somehow it triggers them to go, oh, I'm going to start working. And they start doing the questions on their own. So they're doing their own healing, but I'm not interfering. So they can go in and grab what other information they want from there that's going to help them. So I kind of
Um,
think of it in that respect, that I'm not going to go in and do something with somebody else's horse, but the horses can sure go ahead and, you know, draw on
yeah,
that intention and that stuff that I've put in there. So
yeah. The only thing I ever do is just breathe with them
yeah.
and just show them that I'm there. And like I said, I was just witnessing something yesterday and I was like, I gotta walk away. Like, and it wasn't even that bad. I mean, it wasn't even like, and there was no abuse, although I
Right.
thought it was abuse, but there was no like, I was just like, what are you doing? This horse is lame. What, stop it. Like, all they were doing was they thought they were like exercising it. I'm like, ow, like,
I know.
no, like, stop. Like, just
Uh,
walked out. Like, I can't do it.
yeah.
And I can't imagine how you knowing what you know and feeling what I just can't even imagine that like you have talked about how you don't know if you have the fortitude to and I can see why like even my little pieces of information I'm like oh gosh like yeah
Yeah.
and
But
these are people that think they're doing the right thing like I did like
right.
everyone's did yeah.
Exactly. And
So I so appreciate this. If there's nothing, I don't think there's, let me look at my little notes here.
yeah, make sure we covered everything.
Is there any, again, maybe this is, I'm not even going to ask that. Never mind. Like, did I inflict trauma on her? I'm sure I did. I don't need to know. Like,
Well,
unknowingly, I'm sure I did.
it goes back to the first thing I said, water under the bridge. It's
Yeah, like I said, I don't know that I even want to, again,
yeah,
why bother?
right.
Um, so I'm so pleased to know that she's always with me. I'm hoping to be able to see her signs that she shows me. I feel like it's a hawk. When I see a hawk, I see her. She's present with me when I see a hawk. I'm sure, like you said, she's always there, but these are things that I go, oh, there she is. Or oh, I've asked to see a hawk and then I see one and I go, okay, like I said, these are these little pieces of confirmation that my thinking mind needs
Yeah.
or think I need. Oh, I did also want to say again, I know this is water under the bridge, but I have to tell her
even though I've said it to her, she's probably heard me. I feel like I've rode her way too long in her life. I feel like I should have retired her from riding. Again, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I know all these things are
Yeah,
irrelevant, but I just once I started to once I did stop riding her, I was like, oh gosh, I really should have done this so long ago. But um, I'm just I'm so pleased that she came into my life, that she showed me the gift. Like she's given me so many gifts. Like she was a gift, and then all the rest of it followed.
yeah,
And again, I truly appreciate you helping me in this little communication. I will look to her regularly, daily. And I do. I just maybe will be able to feel her a little bit more now that I know she's always with me. And I'll wait for her to come. When she does,
yeah.
I'll help her adjust to that body because it's probably gonna be pretty hard. And I hope she doesn't suffer before I get to her, that's all.
Yeah.
I
It's,
just worry about her coming back and getting, I don't know. Again, I know she had a pretty great life as far as what, you know, we think a great life was. She had shelter and herd mates and
yeah.
food and all the stuff, medicine she needed, blah, 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 blah. But still, I can't imagine how hard it would be to be a horse.
Oh, yeah.
I
She just,
mean,
she just told me I'll choose wisely this time.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So take that worry off the thing. It's like that's on her. She goes, that one is on me. I'll choose
good,
wisely. Okay.
good. And maybe she'll come as a dog. I'm particularly fond of dogs, so
I see her as a dog. Yeah.
great.
Yes.
Because I was worried that she was coming to me as a black gelding, and I was like, no,
Uh,
I don't want
yeah,
a
no,
horse. I don't want a gelding. I want a mare. If I get a horse, I want it to be a mare.
there you
They're
go.
so much more in tune.
Yes. No, yeah, I can see her already. I don't want to put an idea in your mind of what, so that way you're looking for that particular thing. So,
Right. I know she'll come and she'll show up, and it'll be
she's
the most
very, very cute though. You won't be able to resist it.
Of course not. Of
It's like
course.
your little button nose. Oh, she's so cute. And she said, this time I'll be able to hug. Like, I'll like that.
Yeah, she was never a touchy-feely horse. She was not affectionate. One time she was very affectionate to me, and I thought she was dying. I was like, something's terribly wrong. Like, it
But
was
that,
about 4 or 5 years ago, and I remember thinking, like, this is terrible. Like, something's wrong with her.
that all had to do with that thing I was talking about, too much sensory information. Too,
Yeah, I'm sure.
yeah, yeah. So, all right.
Again, Dr. Fay, I wish you well. I hope to see you again soon in some way. And thank you again. I so appreciate this.
You are so welcome, and you take care of yourself, and you're on the right path. I like what you're heading toward, and this, I can't wait to see what blossoms.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
All right, you take care.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Do you have to end the recording first, or could we just sign
No,
off?
we
Okay.
just sign off. It just still, whichever way I do it, it works.
Yeah, I don't know how to these technology things
Yeah.
go.
I'm gonna stop it right now, but